video update. So I've got my door built and installed. I got my hinges screwed in, all that good stuff. I did so 1-inch foam. I had to rip my 2x4s, rip them down to 2.5 inches, and that was really just to get all my thickness right on everything. Anyway, it's kind of a cheap thin material, but basically mainly just to give it some protection. So if I bump into it, I'm not tearing up that foam board. I did it down both sides. Installed a little hook here to hook a spring onto it. Taped all my seams. Taped it on the inside also where the foam board's at. Did some cross supports in that door. Basically, I spent a couple days about 2 days working on the door. I got some little foam that goes up in there to kind of help seal the door whenever I pull it closed. The spring pulls it fairly tight. Not perfect, but does pretty good. I just got that sunk in with a little washer holding. It's just like that on the other side. Just kind of holds there and holds enough tension. And I took a piece of PVC pipe and just kind of cut it down where it fit in that corner pretty good. Put a few screws in it. And let me close the door and show you why. So it rubs right there on that corner. So I figured as I open it and close it, it would rub on that and not right here. Just a little something I was doing. It's 4 in the morning, by the way, right now. So it's just been out here tinkering. I was thinking about this door. Couldn't sleep, so said, this is all done. Happy with it. I've got the air conditioner all foamed in real good. I'm going to clean that foam up a little bit. I just haven't gotten to it. Hadn't been my priority. This door has been my main priority. Got all my seams and everything taped up. Still gonna hang my light. That's kind of next thing. But all my seams are taped up. What I got right here in this spot, there's actually a power outlet that's tied to this switch for the light in here. And I left myself access if I ever wanted to use that. I may end up tying like LED lights in here and running them around each wall. But still got to get up in the attic and pull those bolts tight from the top side. And I've got a water heater and filter installed. Initially I was trying to do it on this wall over here. Didn't really like the way everything was laying out on it, so I ended up diverting it the other way to that wall. Anyway, I've got this is where the well comes into the well. There's a valve down here. It's my primary valve. And then if I throttle it, because it's a small water heater, it's electrical water heater, on demand style, and it's not going to put out a whole lot of hot water. It'll heat up if you run it real slow, but basically this valve here is going to be my valve that's designated to take that pressure cut over time. Long duration, it may eventually cut out, not running it wide open, but I figured I have it, and it also works handy for when I change my filter out, having it right there instead of having to lean down there and close that valve. Not really much of a big deal, but anyway, this line here is going to be for whenever I'm just using my cold water, which is majority of my time. And then I've just got a dead-ended hot water line right now. Well, it actually has a hose connection on there, but I've got my valve shut off right there. So whenever I do need to use the hot water, I got that. And I'll probably route that hot water around to the back side over here. That little hole cut out. That's going to be a sink drain. So really, main thing I got left is a little bit of attic work. I got to put my light bracket back up And then I've got to tackle what I'm going to do with the floor drain right there. And, you know, a few little odds and ends, a little touch up on a few things. I'll get my brackets, what I'm going to use to hang up there. Got a few ideas on that, on what I can do, a few options. Anyway, everything went good. I did the kitchen remodel in the house about 5-6 months ago. And I was a little nervous about that, on being able to take that job on by myself. And everything went good with that. So whenever it came to doing this job, I was never really sweating it. There's nothing I was ever really concerned about. I'd kind of built everything in my head a number of times over. And I say I don't really care. I don't like the way that water heater, water lines and all that turned out. I may end up moving the filter over here to this wall, providing I can have enough space, and then just rerouting it and keeping the hot water on that side. Figure that'll clean it up a little bit, not look so sloppy. Did turn this on. I don't have my little Inkbird plugged in, which is going to control my temperature right now. But I turned this thing on and ran it, and it ran probably like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 minutes, and the unit shut down because it got to 60 degrees and shut itself off. So very pleased with how quick that cooled everything off. It's probably like 75 right now outside, so, you know, small room. It's not surprising it didn't take very long to cool it off, but kind of excited about getting to use it. I'll probably hook that up in the next day or two and pull this thing down to about 40 degrees. And at that point, you know, I've got some other things to do in here. I've got a stainless steel table I'm going to put over here in this corner, and, you know, that way it'll give me a working area. Eventually I'll get a sink over here on this wall right here. Anyway, that's kind of the video update. Like I say, feel like I'm about 95% done on this. Oh yeah, one more thing. Whenever I'd rip down the 2x4s to make them 2.5 inches, I took the extra 1 inch of board and just kind of inlaid it right here with this door, so it would butt up next to it pretty good. So with the spring, everything pulls pretty tight. I do notice that my screw heads stick out a little bit right here on a couple of them, so I might tighten those up. That way the door will pull a little bit tighter on there. Yeah, really that's just little nitpicky things. I've got a little threshold down here that whenever I close it, it butts up real good on there. That's a 1/2 inch tall, and it slopes coming this way. Anyway, I floated the door 3/8 of an inch with something I had laying around, just to float it up in the air a little bit, so that way when the door does close. And when I built the door, I built it with that in mind, of using that, because I already had this. And so my bottom part of the door actually slopes downward on the far side, and slopes up on this side. So whenever it closes, it actually mates in with that pretty dang good. So I'm not really going to put any other kind of seal or anything like that, at least right now on there. That's all worked out good. I did have a seal over here on this side. Whenever I went to close the door, I guess I'd put this 2x4 too tight. Went to close the door and it wasn't closing very well, so I pulled it off. So evidently that's got a good enough seal on there that it didn't need the little bit of foam there. One thing I've been thinking about, just tinkering around in here tonight, was whenever I have this closed, I was thinking about actually having, like, you know, marking up my spot all the way around and just putting foam, you know, like cutting some strips of foam and putting them right there on the edge of that door all the way around. I don't know if I'll do that or not. It was just kind of something I thought about. Anyway, real pleased with it. The door Opens and closes real easy, real smooth. Say